Hi folks, welcome to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm Dr. John, I'm the host for tonight. There's Dr. Alex over there. This is our beautiful new friend Sarah. Thanks for coming tonight, sweetie.
Thank you.
You know folks, we love what we do. Sarah is new to the area, and we want to talk about how she chose this office and how this office might click with the office didn't. But Sarah, just give everybody just a short introduction. Who are you?
Sure. So I'm a 31-year-old. I work in distribution as a supervisor. I'm a wife, a stepmom, and a mom of 3 kitties and 1 dog. They're my fur babies, as you could say. I've recently moved into the area. I've got deep roots towards the Freeland area, born and raised in the Poconos, and for about 5 years I had moved about an hour away from here. And it just brought me back home. Great school district for Crestwood for future family and my stepson. Good. And it just feels very nice. Something clicked. I felt it in my heart.
Well, we're going to listen to her story now as to what were her medical or chiropractic complaints, how she chose this office, and how things are going, okay? So go get a nice glass of cool water and come back in about 1 minute. Hey guys, thanks for coming back. You know, a lot of people, Alex, will stop me in the street and they'll ask me, how much do you pay these actors to do the show? And what I love about this show, as you know, we give her a free massage, to be honest with you, but she's a real live patient. She's not a paid actor. But Sarah, I want people to connect with your story. Just tell them a little about why you came here and what your previous experience was before you chose this office.
Sure. So I started chiropractic care in 2018. It was not too long after I had given birth. I was experiencing really bad migraines, a lot of right hip pain. It got very bad. I'd feel it popping every time I'd be walking, and it was just very uncomfortable. And then it started throwing my back into pain. So I felt the need for it. At that time, my husband had suggested that I start seeing a chiropractor, and as well as my daughter. So she would go for her appointments, and at that point she was a newborn. She'd go twice a week, and I'd squeeze an appointment in as well. And it was very nice. It was nice to have the relief, but that's all it was. It was just relief. And I felt the need that, you know, we need to get answers. We need to get some resolution on it.
So when she came to my office, Alex, she said it's refreshing to be here because I think you felt we delved a little bit deeper.
Yes.
I'm always sharing with you, be more like a detective. Figure out what's causing the problem, where the other chiropractor, I guess, never investigated that deeply. So what did we find that you were doing?
Correct. So my old chiropractor was just going through a routine. We'd go in, she'd do the same thing, and then that would be it. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I come here, and yes, you did dive a lot deeper. Come to find out, my migraines were a simple little adjustment. I was sleeping on my stomach. I never at any point in my life thought that sleeping on my stomach would cause my headaches or any other pains that I have. And by simple discussion, we just prop ourselves up, we train the body to sleep on the side, and everything would be okay. I would actually get some relief, and it would stay instead of just having to come in and get that temporary kind of pain relief.
But you could see it in her eyes, Alex. Think about it now. 31 years, right? So 31 years she slept on her stomach. Was not too happy with her previous chiropractic care, but they never told her. She must have left thinking, it makes sense. Sleeping on my stomach, twisting my neck all night long, her adjustments were never going to hold. So when I talk to some local chiropractors, they say this to me: stop telling people to stop, because they're not going to keep coming back to us.
Oh,
but Alex, I really believe that God says to my heart, do what's best for Sarah. And if it's not sleeping on her stomach, she's going to hold her adjustments better, not get any migraines. She will know we're good, honest guys that we're trying to get good results. She will share the word. So I pray even local chiropractors who aren't telling people what we see behind the scenes, like, you know, don't cross legs, don't sit, you know, men, take out your wallets, all those little things we tell our patients. We want to get the best results we can. So Sarah, one day will have no headaches at all, come less and less often. That's the ultimate goal. But you could see it in her eyes. She was like, why didn't that other girl tell me this? And you went to her for what, just a couple times? I
was with her from 2018 through actually 2021, before I had moved. And I was going maybe once or twice a month, and it was definitely right around my menstrual cycle when I'd start to get the severe migraines where you thought that something was like stabbing you or your eyes were bothering you. I would always make sure I'd schedule before, thinking if I can get ahead of it, I wouldn't have any issues. Right. And then I would go again once or twice a month, just to get my hip popped back in. Because with my job, I'm walking and walking and walking through this building, and I'd feel it pop out. And then it's just the clicking and the popping, and you're like, I'm doing more damage to my hip than what it really needs to be done. But I kept going thinking that that's who I needed to be with. And it wasn't until I got here where I felt it. Something just clicked. I felt it in my heart, felt it in my soul, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to get some relief here, some actual personal care and the TLC that I needed.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And Dr. Alex, you're going to get I got a phone call years ago. What would you do, Sarah? A neurologist calls me. He says, I told my patient not to go to a chiropractor. I heard that you're cracking her neck, and I told her not to have her neck cracked. So I was gentle. I said to him, doctor, if you don't mind me asking, how long are you treating this woman's migraines? 17 years. With like a Depakote, which I believe is like a weak seizure medication. I said, I believe she was a stomach sleeper, but she was cracking her own neck. So I got her to stop sleeping on her stomach, stop cracking her neck. After 4 or 5 adjustments, her migraines are gone. I said, why would you be mad at me? There was silence. So I said to him, if you don't mind me just sharing from my perspective, there was nothing wrong with the CAT scans of her brain. And I'm sharing this on TV because people are watching this, Sarah. They're saying, my doctor's telling me, don't go to a chiropractor. My doctors are telling me, don't have your neck cracked. If it's done gently, like we did with you, it's still safe. The last girl, Gabby, before we did your show, same thing. She had migraines. She wasn't going to school, was missing work. Dr. Alex did great results with her. So I like to talk openly about it, Alex. So if doctors are telling you, don't go to a chiropractor, I feel like saying, this is the temple of the Holy Spirit that God has given us. This patient should make her own choice. Right. She chose to come here because she was sort of dissatisfied where she was. So if they're not getting results and they're tired of the side effects of the pills, try chiropractic. Give it a chance, and if it helps you, then you should challenge your neurologist or your doctor. Say, you know what, why are you against this profession when it's changed my life?
And what's more, you think about the chiropractors who aren't looking deeper, who aren't giving the advice. It's kind of sad because you could have, potentially, this could have been an incredible technique, a technician, a skilled chiropractor who was, every time you came in, doing what you needed in that moment. But then you would go back to the habits, go back to sleeping on your stomach, and it would fall back out. And just to share, my class was large. I graduated with, I think, 89 other chiropractors. Incredible, incredible technicians, all of them. But the vast majority of them, especially in cities like Dallas, Texas, they go to these clinics where they see 100 people a day, and they're not talking to them. They're just adjust. And people come in, they get on the table, they don't even see their face. They adjust, and then they send them on their way. And somebody else writes the note. So, it becomes like a crack addiction, you know what I mean? Just to say, looking for the cracks. But they're not getting those long-lasting results. They're seeing the same people every week. It's a lot like your case. I'm not saying your chiropractor was like that. But she was missing that extra piece, which, by the way, it's the love. It's the care. It's the reason I'm not a surgeon. I saw them cut, and I thought that's not love.
For any women out there that has any kind of a challenge in their life, that it was hard just to get back your strength and your confidence, maybe Sarah will share a little bit of her own personal life and how, to me, she looks like a beautiful, confident, strong girl, but she had to overcome a lot of pain to get to this point. So go for another little ice cream break. Come back in a minute. Thank you. Hi folks. So Sarah's right hip was always popping. We feel chiropractically we do a leg check. Her legs were unlevel. As we get the sacroiliac joint to stay in place, the cartilage will heal, the popping will stop. It'll be nice and stable. We told her, don't cross your legs, don't sit on top like Indian style. So it's there again. We need her to know the proper habits to get it to heal. But this is only, what, your second or third time here so far, right?
Second, yeah.
Yeah. So pretend you meet 2 strangers. We meet, and on the second visit, she starts to share with me how she's had some challenges or pains in the past, and how God gave her the strength to overcome it. So, Sarah, if you don't mind, I have many women who share to me, and we're not just chiropractors, Alex. I pray that people can feel our spirits, and they can confide in us, and it's our job to sort of encourage them in their life's journey. So, share a little bit, if you can, about what you've gone through.
Yeah, so like I said before, in 2018, I became a mom to a beautiful baby girl. The pregnancy was fine, delivery was fine, and I got very lucky to where I just had 2 little abrasions on the inside there, so I didn't need stitches. There was no complications. We went home just fine, but when I was at work in October 7th of that year, I received a phone call from my husband panicking, and our baby girl wasn't breathing. I had my manager from work drive me to the hospital, and she did not make it. And from then, it's been a life struggle and trying to get through everything. The chiropractic office that we were seeing reached out and, did what they could for us. But I didn't blame anybody. I continued doing what I had to do, and you have to find that daily strength. There's a lot of people out in the world that still have their families, and at no point am I going to sit there and be mad about that or upset about it. I'm going to embrace it. I'm not one to blame God for it. I'm not angry with Him. I'm finding the strength in thinking that everything does happen for a reason. There's a reason why my daughter was taken from me. And it's not for me to know, though. And you got to find peace in that and come to terms with it. Find something new that's going to keep you motivated and keep you going. And for about a year after, I struggled with self-care. I would get up, I'd just go through the routine. I would deal with the headaches, and the stress actually took a toll on my body. I lost 10 pounds very rapidly. They were doing ultrasounds, checking my liver, checking everything else, gallbladder, making sure that I was okay. And I had to take about a week and a half away from everything. So my husband and I then found a new love for traveling. So we started taking little trips, and I started reinvesting in that self-care. And that's what then brought me back into doing the chiropractic care. And I found that a lot of my sadness going day by day was because I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't feeling well, whether it was my gut, my hip, my head. Nothing was in alignment. There was no unison through it all. And as I'm going back through all of this now, and I start feeling better after that first visit, I felt so good after that first visit. Emotionally, spiritually, but just physically, I felt so much better. I got in the car and my husband thought I was a different person. He was so happy to see that I was happy. And it's been so long since he's seen that in my face.
And so I know that it was not easy for you to share that, but Alex, that's my point. We are not a factory like your buddies are. We are not just popping in our right hip. We're not just cracking a neck. Even if she never shared that whole story, there's so many people watching the show that are going through divorces or deaths of parents or COVID-19 stresses, that when we heal them, Alex, we allow them to spiritually and physically cope and adapt. She has a resiliency, and I wanted to gently share that, and you were brave to talk about it. But I think there's many young women, and I'm here 42 years, Alex. I hug these girls when they come in, and I've had girls that the day before their baby was due, they lose them. On their first birthday, they lose them. I've seen so much pain and tragedy, and all you can do is hug them and encourage them. So I pray women are going to get strength from what you just shared. That only God knows, all the answers in life, but I think He wants you to carry on, and we're part of her process, Alex. We're going to get her to be strong and healthy so she can mentally say, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to have another baby again at this point.
Yeah, it's very important. You see those little signs that, you find those pennies. You see those cardinals, and just me coming back to my hometown, home area, really. It was all a bigger plan, and you have to learn to adapt and work through it, but you can't miss those smaller pieces, like self-care with chiropractic.
But you're beautiful, Sarah. I think a lot of people, Alex, they don't see those. I had a friend once in college. He said, John, you seem to have a very ongoing relationship with God. He goes, I don't. He goes, I pray, I never hear God answering me. I said, his name was Brad. And I said, Brad, you just are blind to all those little things that God is already doing for you. So Sarah's heart is open that she sees those little signs. So I pray people watching this show that are depressed and have gone through heartache and they're just ready to give up at this point, that they are ignoring the little signs you just talked about. Okay, folks, go for another little coffee break, whatever. Come back for the last segment of the show. Welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I think a powerful part of the show that we take for granted, Alex, we try to be masters of an art. It takes years and years to get better and better as to this patient, Sarah, wants us to be a little bit rougher. This woman wants us to be more gentle. And if we do too much, we'll scare them away. So there's all these little subtle readings that a good chiropractor has to listen to. Why that adjustment was so powerful just on the first time. But people watching the show, Alex, they are afraid of chiropractors, a lot of them, because on Hulu, these guys get ropes, and I've seen it. They're laying on their backs, and they jerk to people's necks. And I think they think that they're being so dynamic about it, but it scares a lot of people away. So I want people to see how we adjust patients in this office. I think we take for granted what we do. But for a lot of people out there say, okay, my hip's been popping, I'm having headaches, show me what you do. So let's walk right down the room and we'll show them what we do, okay?
Sure.
Okay, come this way. Hands up here. This is called a high-low table, Sarah. A lot of chiropractors have tables which just stay down and people have to crawl on and crawl off. We're going to measure the length of her legs. If her right sacroiliac is off, standing on that platform reduces human error. I think when you crawl on and off a table, it can almost make the legs unlevel. So it's a more expensive table to have a high-low, but I think it's just more accurate. So again, she has a left and a right sacroiliac joint. We're going to measure the length of her legs. You got fancy boots on tonight, girl.
I do.
And it held perfectly. So the legs should be level. The first time I met her, her right side was a ½ inch longer, which is indicative of the side being up, but now they're perfectly level. So the longer that stays in alignment, and I remember that the popping just doesn't stop totally or immediately. So as her spine, just to get people on TV. So what we're talking about, I think Sarah's back was like this. Her right sacroiliac here was misaligned, causing a popping in her hip. So all the doctors take x-rays of the hip, but chiropractors feel if you just get the back in alignment, all the cartilage will get stronger and stronger and it'll eventually just fade away. So let me adjust her the way we did that first visit. And Alex, I will never, remember, once you see someone's legs are longer, you make the adjustment, then you always have to check again afterwards. I always feel you have to, and again the angles, we get on the right sacroiliac and the left ischium. So those are the angles that if she goes to like the ER room and they take x-rays, what we're thankful for, Alex, we've been trained how to get the body back in place. We have a belief that God has given this beautiful body an ability to heal itself. We just have to get things back in place for her. Take a deep breath for me. Let this relax though. And exhale. Good girl. Just a little bit. No, you're good. So what's exciting for me, when she's level, nothing's cracking. So she has nice strong muscles. So we give her a free massage for doing a show. And that's exactly what this body needs. It's just tight muscles. So do you sit or stand at work all day long?
Stand.
Yeah, so maybe she gets, tight from just standing in distribution all day. So now let's do the neck. To me, Sarah, is the most exciting part of the visit. Alex, doing a neck adjustment to me, again, it's an art. You get better and better as the years go by. So lay on your back for me. I get so many patients, Alex, they'll say to me, I get headaches and migraines, but there's these triggers. Bright lights, chocolate, music. They have this whole list of triggers they have to stay away from. So I tell them that the chiropractic philosophy says if I get Sarah's neck in alignment, her central nervous system will cope and adapt better than the body can cope with those triggers. So the medical profession wants them to think, just stay away from these triggers. Your body cannot adapt. We feel, remove the imbalance in your neck, the body can adapt. So it's a whole different way of looking at the body. So we're going to get her neck. And she can tell you, this side feels softer. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling for symmetry. So right there's like a knot in her neck. And were you cracking your neck too?
No.
Okay, good. Because as you know, Alex, that makes it even worse for patients. So the goal is I use the tip of my finger. Try to let it relax in my hand. Just a little. Okay, nothing on the good side. So again, Alex, I try when it doesn't crack, don't force it. I want people watching the show to realize that it doesn't hurt. You sort of get what you can get at times. Now, same thing, let it fall in my hands. A little bit. Oh, she's tight tonight, so that's okay. She's on national TV here. So again, and this is critical. I'll be blunt, nothing cracked. I like to be honest with the viewers, but Alex, when it doesn't want to move, don't force it. Right. Maybe she had a busy day, maybe she's nervous to be in. The worst thing I could do is to try to impress people on TV and force it. So we don't do it. We'll give her a massage maybe next time. The neck should move nice and gently. She never have to force it.
And I think that's probably one of the best lessons you've given me. When I came here, you told me, don't impress them. Just do what the neck gives you. You know, if it's not today, it's not today.
You know, a good chiropractor, honestly, brother, if you and I can always stay humble, we can never get too proud of how many people we see or how much money we make. So if it doesn't want to move, we have to stay humble and say, you know, it's not moving tonight, Sarah. Let's not force it. I think a patient will respect our honesty, and she can feel it. It just doesn't want to give. I don't ever want to force it. Right. I think that's when... Those are the horror stories. Right. When a chiropractor feels like, you know what, I got to get something to crack here. So they force it. She goes home and says to her husband, I don't know what he did, but I feel worse. They don't come back. Right. Yeah, so the goal is just be honest with patients. And Sara to me is very intuitive. Somehow she and I just connected on that first visit. So I'm not going to try to fake it, you know, on this TV show. Okay, I'll bring you up, buddy. She's going to probably want a 2-hour massage.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't sleep the greatest last night. So I am sore.
Yeah, so again, her body just seems tighter to me than it did the other day in the office. So I'll tell patients that this is when I talk to them about getting a massage. You know, I don't know her whole life. Maybe her job, maybe things at home, but if her body's tight, schedule the massage, try to get it the next. That's why I think chiropractic and massage, I think, Sarah, is a great marriage. You know, when the body's sort of tight, let the massage loosen it, Alex, come back to neck, and then it clicks nice and gentle. Yeah. It's nice and gentle. Well, I want to thank you. Like I said, you're new back to the area. I think God brought you to, so it's not just you and being impressed with us. We're impressed with you. I pray what you shared tonight on the show is going to encourage other girls who, it's not an easy thing, you know, we had 3 miscarriages, but we never lost a baby after they're born. That's even harder to cope with. But I pray that gives, I'm not afraid to talk openly about it because I want to encourage people. We're not just chiropractors, Alex. We're here to be healers, and a healer has to connect with that patient, see what Sarah's going through, and keep encouraging her. So it's a joy to do the show tonight. So you schedule your free massage, and thanks for coming again.
Oh, you got it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thanks, folks. That's what we do in this office all day long. That's why I never want to retire. Thanks for tuning in.